Hey, folks, welcome to Vitruvian Book Review number 41 for 2021. This book is Anything You Want by Derek Sivers. So who is Derek Sivers? Well, Derek Sivers is the founder of CD Baby, which he sold for some $22 million. However, that is not, as Paul Harvey used to say, let's find out the rest of the story. So here's what Derek Sivers did that was really, really cool. Before he sold CD Baby for $22 million, it wasn't actually Derek that sold the company. He actually put all of the assets of his company into a trust to benefit music education, because that's what meant something to him. And when the foundation sold CD Baby for $22 million, he had structured it so that he would only receive 5% of whatever the foundation produced for him to live off of from then on. He realized he didn't need 22 million bucks. Derek Sivers, and this is what I want you to, this is the first point I want to make about this book. When you hear anything you want, and it's coming from a guy that if you've just heard kind of on the surface of who Derek Sivers is, maybe you've heard a little bit of him on Tim Ferriss's podcast. He's made the podcast circuits. I've invited him to come on the Jason Wright show. I would love to glean some of his wisdom for my audience on my show. He's not at all about the money. This is a guy that figured out really early on, to me, the most profound wisdom any of us can figure out at any point in our life, which is what it is that truly matters in life, what true contentment is. And so this was never about the money for Derek Sivers. That comes through just loud and clear. As a matter of fact, CD Baby was almost an accident company. It was him doing something he loved, and which basically happened to be the reason a market that was not being served was discovered. And that was this. Back in the day, if you were an independent artist, like right now, you can actually, well, here's a cool example. Here's a great example. So right now, if you're an independent artist and you cut a CD, you can actually upload your songs and produce them just like a podcast to iTunes. Okay, back in the day, that did not happen. You had to get discovered. You could actually create the CDs and sell them at your shows, but man, that's a long, hard battle, and hope that you get signed by a big record label. But then when you do that, if you talk to any of these independent artists, they don't really like it because they lose all creative control. They get put into a corporate machine, and they kind of just have to sell their soul to actually make it as an artist. Derek Sivers and CD Baby made it possible so that the independent creator of music could actually create their music and sell their CDs far and wide. That's what he created, almost by accident. In fact, the first CD that he ever sold was just as a favor to a friend. And all of a sudden, one friend told another, and before you know it, the birth of CD Baby comes along. What this book does is it documents Derek's journey through the entrepreneurial process, and how, and just the wisdom that he put in this book. You know, all right, my wife and I are small business owners. I can tell you, my wife has some of the DNA as an entrepreneur of a Derek Sivers. She focuses 100% on the customers first, the customer. Make sure that they are taken care of. And that's why my wife, not me, it's her. She has built a company or a business that over the last decade has continued to grow and have, as Kevin Kelly calls it, those 1,000 true fans, because she stay focused on them. Those are the lessons that you can learn as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, from Derek Sivers. He talks about how keeping the customer's needs above your own is the primary way to make a success of your enterprise. And then he just gives some anecdotal evidence of how it worked for him. He talks about the good, the bad, and the ugly. He talks about how there was a point where he essentially, it was so hard to delegate at one point, and then all of a sudden he over-delegated to the point where his own employees kind of turned on him, kind of like Frankenstein turned it on Dr. Frankenstein, in that they decided that Derek was the bad guy. And so he talks about not just the ups and the popping champagne bottles. That's actually not even a Derek Sivers type mentality. It's more of build something that people love being a part of, that your customers love, that he loved. And it's kind of like it has some hints of the 4 Hour Work Week with Tim Ferriss, you know, in that it shows you how you can actually make your life easier when it comes to that point where you have to start to delegate. He shows you how he did it, how he pulled it off. And but then the biggest lesson is this is not a book just about how to build a big and successful business. What this is about is how to help you find a life of contentment, a life of purpose, being able to have not only just the success and the company and the business and all that, but the things that really matter most, which it's funny because reading this for me, like, as you know, guys, I'm doing a Vitruvian book review channel on YouTube. This is not exactly going to hit the algorithm and make me famous and have ads or have advertisers beating down my door. I do this because I love to read, I love to learn, and it helps me to embed the information that I've taken from these books better by coming on here and holding myself accountable to tell you what I've read. And then also my hope is that in my endeavor to improve always in all ways, which is the motto for the Jason Wright Show, is to give you something. I hope that somebody out there, I hope there's either a small business owner right now or someone that wants to be a small business owner that you hear this and you go, I've got to pick up this little book that, I mean, will take you an hour, maybe if you read slow like I do, to knock out. And the wisdom is so much that it's so beyond the time, worth more than the time you spend consuming it. That's why I do this. And so I have figured out in my 46 years that the things that really matter the most in life, that are going to bring you the most contentment, the most joy, the most happiness, however you want to categorize it, has nothing to do with the title that you wear, with how much money's in your bank account. It has to do with relationships, good health, figuring out what really drives you. Because the thing is, you know it and I know it. If someone says to you, you know, hey, you want $1 million, you'd say, sure, but it's not the money that you want. It's what the money represents that you want. And so Derek Sivers, he realized that early on, and that's why he was able to give freely, take the money from CD Baby, his baby, and give it away because it was for something that meant more to him than the money. And here, this kind of sums it up. I guess this is either the last, I think this is the last chapter of the book. And this kind of sums up that whole mindset that Derek Sivers applied at this stage of the game whenever he had reached what any of us would consider the pinnacle of success as an entrepreneur. Said, why I gave my company to charity. Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller were at a party at a billionaire's extravagant estate. Kurt said, wow, look at this place. This guy has everything. Joseph said, yes, but I have something he'll never have. Enough. When I decided to sell CD Baby, I already had enough. I live simply. I don't own a house, a car, or even a TV. The less I own, the happier I am. The lack of stuff gives me the priceless freedom to live anywhere, anytime. So I didn't need or even want the money from the sale of the company. I just wanted to make sure I had enough for a simple, comfortable life. The rest should go to music education because that's what made such a difference in my life. I created a charitable trust called the Independent Musicians Charitable Remainder Unit Trust. When I die, all of its assets will go to music education, but while I'm alive, it pays out 5% of its value per year to me. A few months before the sale, I transferred all the CD Baby assets into the trust. It was irrevocably gone. It was no longer mine. It all belonged to the charitable trust. Then, when disc makers bought CD Baby, they bought it from not from me, but from the trust, turning it into $22 million cash to benefit music education. It's not that I'm altruistic. I'm sacrificing nothing. I've just learned what makes me happy. And doing it this way made me the happiest. I get the deeper happiness of knowing that the lucky streak I've had in my life will benefit tons of people, not just me. I get the pride of knowing I did something smart and irreversible before I could change my mind. I get the safety of knowing I won't be the target of wrongful lawsuits since I have very little net worth. I get the unburdened freedom of having it out of my hands so I can do something stupid, or so I can't do something stupid. But most of all, I get the constant, priceless reminder that I have enough. Man, that is a message that it has taken me 46 years to realize. And I'm telling you, folks, this book is an incredible reminder that the best things in life truly are free. Yeah, we got to have money, we got to have food, we got to have shelter. But you know what? If you're chasing the almighty dollar, if you're chasing the stuff, you will come up empty each and every time. And Derek Sivers gives a great account of that in Anything You Want. Pick up this book. I think you will really enjoy it. Hey, I would really, really be grateful if you would subscribe to the channel. Go back and check out all the previous book reviews. I'm going to continue this into 2022. And also, check out the Jason Wright Show. I have incredible guests such as New York Times bestselling authors, professional athletes, business leaders, you name it, all sorts of health and wellness experts. The motto of the show is to improve always in always, because that's my goal. I want to be the absolute best version of myself I can possibly be, because if I can do that, then I think that the fruit of that endeavor will spill over into my fellow man. That's the whole objective of this thing. And so I hope you will subscribe to the channel, listen to the Jason Wright Show. And one more thing, please go out and subscribe to the Vitruvian Letter. That's my personal newsletter. And you can do that at jasonwrightnow.com. You'll get a pop-up, sign up for it. It's free. It's just a little repository of all the things, be it medical research, books I've read, things that I just think that are cool. I'll actually aggregate some articles from some of the thought leaders that I really appreciate. If they get something in that I think I want to share with you guys, I'll go grab it and stick it in there so that you can just kind of scan and find what's meaningful to you. It's once a week. I don't blow up your inbox. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Vitruvian Letter. And that's it. I'm out. Thank you so much for listening to this review. I hope that you will always endeavor to improve always in all ways. Thanks.